Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm the Digital Publishing Specialist at HSU. Today, we're going to set up a book document in InDesign. And the first step to a professional looking layout is to download InDesign from Creative Cloud if you don't already have it on your computer. You can do this by Googling HSU software if you are a student, staff, or faculty member here at HSU. You're going to follow all these instructions, and eventually it's going to take you to the Creative Cloud suite, and it looks something like this. Today we're using InDesign. It's dark purple and bright pink, and mine is already downloaded. Yours will have a little download button, and once it is downloaded, it will take you to a page. Mine is already open. That looks something like this. Today we're going to create a new file, and that is this blue button up in the left-hand corner. It's going to take you to this page, the Let's Start Something New page, and we're going to answer all of its many questions so we get the exact layout that we want, because InDesign is used for so many things. So first it's going to ask that we title our book. Let's call it Book 1 for now. And we're going to change the units into inches because that's just what we're familiar with. 6 by 9 is a pretty standard book size. 5.5 by 8.5. There are many, but this is the standard one you're going to see in a bookshop. It's a little taller and bigger than like the copy, like paperback books you see at the grocery store. It's a nice size, and we're going to want the orientation to be portrait rather than landscape, although some children's books and some other books also are landscape, but for us today we're going to have a portrait. 100 pages. That sounds good to us. We will not use that many today. We're just doing the basics to set up the book. The start page 1, we want to start with just one page and then have the spreads be 2 pages each. We do want them facing because that's what a book is like. It does create these in spreads, so it looks like what we see when we open the book. 1 column, so the column gutter doesn't matter here because that is the space between the columns. The top margin and the bottom margin are the space around the actual print in the book, and the inside and outside as well. But the top and the bottom are special because they have to leave room for the running headers. That's that print up at the very top of a book when you open it that has the title or the chapter name and the author's name maybe. And at the bottom, there is the page number. These can be sorted and moved around, but in general, you want to leave a bunch of room for them. And in this case, we're going to do 1 inch on top and 1 inch on bottom. That should leave us plenty of room. But the inside gutter in the margin, this inside margin right here, this is what we call the gutter because it is in the middle of the book, that pit in there where the pages overlap when they're glued together or bound together. And so you have to leave extra space for that so that all the print looks like it's in the very middle of the page instead of kind of forced into the center. So 0.875 is what we're doing here, and 0.75 for the outside. That seems just about right. And here is what the first page looks like. There are a bunch of shortcuts here, but a good one is Control plus and Control minus at the same time. Control plus makes things bigger. Control minus makes things smaller. You can see that this page is blue over here in our pages. I'll talk about this in just a second. And you scroll down. The reason that this one is on its own is because to its left is the back of the front cover. So that there's nothing there. All right, let's set up our workspace. Up here, mine already says book, but yours might say something else. It might say essentials and have a whole different setup, but that's not going to help us. It might say, the other big one is digital publishing that sometimes it starts in, but for our purposes, we want book, and it's going to show us all the things that we need. These are all windows that we can use. Important windows that we need for bookmaking. Some of them we won't get to in this lesson, but I'll show you how to set them up for later. You can find all these, if you don't have them automatically, in Window. And a lot of them are things for your panels here. Controls are up at the top. If you don't have that, all that fun stuff goes away, but we absolutely do need those. So let's get that back. Pages, that's these over here. We definitely want pages. You can see all your pages and scroll through them quickly. That is a major bonus, because when you have hundreds and hundreds of pages, going down to like page 251 takes a while. So you can scroll through this and it gets there a little more quickly. And you can also move pages around with these pages over here. So you can take 3 and say it needs to go next to 2. And that just switched to page 2 and 3. There's nothing on it, so you can't tell yet. Usually this is a title page, and then there are some other pages here, like a copyright page and another title page with more than just the title, with the publisher's name and the author's name and maybe a picture, and sometimes a dedication page, contents, etc., etc. This stuff is called the front matter. We're not going to teach you all of that just yet. We can put it in at a later date. You can pull it in from a document, a Word file, or you can just type it in here. But a lot of books do not just get typed into InDesign right away. So let's pull one in. It's File up in the corner there, then Place. Then it's going to ask you what you would like. I have a prepared copy, just a few of the chapters of A Princess of Mars. I like to use A Princess of Mars because it is in the public domain. It belongs to the world now, and you can do what you'd like with it. You can publish it, print it, you can mess around with it, you can create a movie with it like Disney did with John Carter. If you click it twice, it's going to load into your cursor. That is the whole book in that cursor right there. That's pretty decent. It's not actually the whole book. It's just the first few paragraphs. And I am going to try to get it just up in this corner right here, and hopefully it'll stick to this guide. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's slightly off, and that's okay. All right. Remember that Control Plus to make it bigger. All right. I actually happen to know that it's on the Arizona hills. I don't want to be pedantic, but I just know that that's actually what the title's called. So it doesn't matter how these look, because you can change all these. If you don't like the font or the size, let's not mess with that right now. Right now we're concerned with getting it in there. So did you see I just selected this selection tool? That's some InDesign meta for you. Select this selection tool and make these boxes the same size as the text boxes that you've created that are pink. This is the What's Next button. Remember, Control and smaller to see more items. So I'm going to click in there and it'll load the cursor again with what's next. Like, okay, next is over here. All right, so after that, next is over here. We've got our words in there, but what about pictures? What about titles? I'm going to show you how to make the title for the title page. There are some boxes over here. For titles, I like to use this rectangle frame tool. It's a rectangle with an X in it. I actually just call it the X box. And I throw a shape out there, and we can change it later. But I like to make it as wide as this guide so that you know when you center the words, they're going to be in the middle of where your type is going. So not in the exact middle of the page, again, because remember the gutters, but in the middle of where everything else is supposed to be, and it'll look like it's in the exact middle of the page. So now there's a box in there. And then I'm going to hit the type tool over here on the left. That's this T. You've got to hit that before you start typing, and you click inside this. This just makes that a type box. And I'm going to write That's the title of this book. We're going to leave that there. It's not beautiful. It's not centered. It's not what I want it to look like. But for right now, that's fine. And I'm going to show you something really useful. If you click over in this gray and then click W on your keyboard, you can see what things are going to look like without all these colorful guides. So it just is going to look like that. No good. I would not buy that book. But for now, it's fine. We're going to put a picture here. Again, this rectangle frame tool, I'm going to make a box here. It's okay that it's not centered or beautiful. And then again, just like we pulled in that Word document, we're going to click File, Place, and then go get our picture. Another public domain picture of the Princess of Mars. It loads it kind of ugly. It's definitely like not what we want. But if you right click it and fitting, fill frame proportionally, it does the thing and it makes it proportionate. Not bad, not bad. Now, if you click in the center of here and it turns orange, you are actually moving the picture within the box and not the box itself. Do you see what I mean? So sometimes that happens and it's frustrating because it kind of gets stuck. But just know that if it's orange, you can click around again until it's blue. And eventually you'll want to use that orange box for moving the picture around. And if you click on the right bottom, these two arrows appear. If you click it twice, it'll snap back exactly to the size of this picture. All right, not bad. I'm going to see what that looks like by clicking in the gray and clicking W on my keyboard. All right, it's okay. But we want it in the center, don't we? So there are two lines here. See that? The pink one is in the very center of your page, and the purple one is in the very center of your text box. And that's what you're looking for. There's also another green one, and that will align with the things that are on top, but we don't really have anything that it can align to since this is all the way across. So let's change this now. I'm going to click inside this text box and highlight it. And these two right here, this A and this backwards P, are very, very, very important to what we need. One is the character formatting button and one is the paragraph formatting button. So the character formatting button is what we're going to use now, and that's going to give you your fonts, your sizes, your kerning, so much stuff. Make it fat, make it tall, do stuff with it. It's a pretty important button. So I've got this highlighted, and I'm going to make it larger so I can really see what I'm playing with here. Maybe not that large, because check this out. It's got that What's Next button over here because it wants to know where to put of Mars. But what I could do is click the Select tool, drag this down and make it bigger. All right, so it's over to the left, not beautiful, but if we click on this paragraph formatting tool, then all the other fun stuff like indents and all of these alignments, we're going to click the center, Princess of Mars. But that Minion Pro, that is the font that comes standard first on all InDesign. You can change it so when you open it, it's something else, but Minion Pro is pretty decent. It doesn't work here though. But what does work? If you scroll over these, you can kind of get a clue of what they're going to look like on there. And can't not do all-round Gothic for something this science fiction-y. You should watch John Carter. I feel like it was a little bit underrated. I liked it. Oh, but it was pretty panned by critics. Okay, so click outside here and hit W again, and I'm digging that. It's all right for a title page that was made in just a few minutes. I think that this should probably go up here. Don't forget on the real title page, this could be the first one, but on the real title page, it would have the title, it would have the author's name, and it would have the publisher down here or wherever, and then there would be some more front matter. And so for the next video, we're going to show you about the paragraph styles, and that is how to change a paragraph and make every paragraph just like that paragraph just by assigning it a style. It's known as headings in some places. And we're also going to show you how to put numbers on your pages. It's more complicated than it should be, but it's an important part of having a professional book. All right, we'll see you next time.